مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيب.
A question is often asked that I just became Muslim recently, I converted, and people are telling me that marriage is important in Islam, I should get married right away, that marriage is half the religion. And our advice, both to new converts, but also those who have recently reconnected with their faith, with their religion, with religious practice, is not to rush into marriage. Because learning the religion takes some time. Gaining religious maturity takes some time. If you've just entered the faith, if you've recently converted or reconnected with Allah, you need to give yourself time to grow. And if you grow, next year you won't be the person you are now in many of your aspirations and choices and preferences. And if you end up marrying now, you may end up making a choice that you might regret later. Or you may not make a properly considered choice. Rather, give yourself time to grow religiously, to grow spiritually. That's number one. Number two, give yourself time to understand what marriage is about. We very often have a disconnect from what marriage needs. So that if we're not properly prepared for marriage, we may end up both wronging the person we marry and wronging ourselves and disadvantaging ourselves. So give yourself time to grow. And be particularly careful about people who are keen to marry you once you convert. Very often they have ulterior motives. Right? Very often they have ulterior motives. They're not being entirely sincere. They couldn't find a husband for their sister, because people have a lot of material expectations and so on. So now you're a convert, you're innocent, and they say, okay, marry my sister. And you say, okay, I'll marry her. Innocently. No. And consider properly, both on religious grounds, on personal grounds, and in light of what marriage requires. So we strongly discouraged hastening into marriage when you have recently reconnected or connected with the faith. Rather, give yourself time to grow. Consider what does a successful marriage require? What is this religious purpose of marriage? Because we view marriage as a partnership on the path of turning to Allah. Right? So it requires to understand what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of marriage? What does successful marriage require? As believers, we take the rights of others very seriously. So we enter into anything with the right preparedness, so that we can make the most of the spiritual potential of marriage. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that this life is a provision. This life is a provision. That life is a long journey, and for that journey we seek the right provisions. So life is a provision. And the best of its provisions is the righteous spouse. So this life is a journey. To be successful on the journey, you have to travel with the right preparation, with the right food and drink to be able to cross the desert of life, the ocean of life. And the best thing you could have is the right life companion. The implication also is that if you are seeking to journey in this life, of the worst things you can be stuck in is a wrong companion. Or you could end up, if you don't prepare for marriage, you could end up being a bad companion for someone who has good aspirations in this life. So don't rush into marriage, but enter into marriage with proper personal preparedness. Proper preparedness with respect to what marriage requires, to the aims of marriage, so that you begin with the right foot on a journey to the homeland of the hereafter and to closeness to Allah Most High.